27th meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals to order, and we'll start with the introduction of members.
I'm Doug Walker, I represent the schools.
Jeff Watson, representing the area planning commission.
Everett Snowberger, Town of Camden.
Randy Strasser, City of Delphi.
Cameron Yates, area plan director.
Cindy Harmon, legal counsel.
Okay, I want to bring one thing to attention. Our bylaws state that it takes 3 members to vote to pass any motion. So if we have a split decision 2 and 2, the motion will not be passed, and the motion would then carry on to the next meeting. So just a little information for everybody. So it takes 3 members to vote to pass any motion. So first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the August 23rd meeting. Are there any additions or corrections as presented?
I'm sorry, I have a question. Where can we get a copy of the minutes?
These are board packets. You can have a copy of the agenda, but this board packet.
Thank you.
If you want a copy, I can get you one after. It's
Okay, I was just
the
curious.
stuff from the previous meetings.
Sounds good, thank you.
Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes as presented?
How did we, approve minutes as read?
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, call the question. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. First item is a variance, variance 2022-6, Roberts. Would you like to push the podium and present any materials you have and present what you'd like to do?
Yeah. Yeah, 5. I mean, I'm not sure how many. So we would like to build a screen-in porch on the back of our house, and we found out we're zoned to agriculture in that area. In our, I would consider it the north lot line, we're like 7 feet from it. And then once you hit that, you got about a 40-foot deep ravine along the edge there. Yeah, so if you don't mind me coming over here, I can talk loud. So we have a lot line back here that comes around at kind of a funny angle and comes back, but on this side, we're about 7 feet from the edge of that lot line. And Shane Hart, a buddy of mine, owns this piece of ground here, but we need a variance in order to build that porch.
It's attached to the house.
It's attached, yeah.
So that make it the normal structure setback of 25.
In agriculture. There's no chance anything you can build on the other side of the deep ravine there, what you're saying? Oh, it's deep.
It's deep. It's.
It might be 60 foot deep, it's
Let me
deep.
show you on Beacon.
Yeah, it's hard to see it in
See,
that
if
picture.
it's zone agriculture, we're concerned about, the
Sure.
equipment being around and
Oh,
everything, but
yeah.
if we're not gonna put a ravine there,
Yeah.
it's never gonna happen.
In the 3D image, you can see it a lot better, there you go. It's not as good, but you can kinda see how close that lot line is right there when the trees are off. No leaves on there, but yeah, we're gonna attach the house. We actually got if you blow that up a little bit, we got a permit already. We're building a garage here. So it's gonna it comes around out, it's 30 by 30 right here, and then that would kinda hide in behind there. So the garage is going up, we got that permitted a month or so ago, so. Yeah, so it'd be this guy right here, just coming on back.
You got to think it goes to the length of the house, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it would not extend past
Yeah.
back of the house.
Rear yard and side yards are 25-foot setback, so you're correct.
Yeah. That's why we're here today, so for that.
Anything else you'd like to tell us?
Nope, just looking forward to having a screening porch back here.
Especially before winter.
I don't know if we'll beat that, yeah. So,
Thank
Anything else?
No, that's fine, thank you. Cameron, you wanna give us staff report and let us know whether it was advertised, be paid, signed, posted, recommendations and, any correspondences for or against?
We received the application from Michael and Raquel Roberts, for a variance, located at 7343 North, 700 West, on August 9th. It was properly advertised in the comment on August 31st. They were requesting a 0-foot setback within 25 for the reasons that he just spoke of. All criteria was met. The petition was, sign was properly posted, and we had no, prior spots, so.
Okay, no correspondence,
Nope.
for or against? Okay. Any questions from the board? For Cameron? Okay, then in that case, we'll move on to the.
I do have one question, Mr. Chairman. The screen and porch, Mike, is it going to be the same extended?
It's gonna follow that line of the house right straight back.
Okay,
Yeah, it's not gonna set any closer to the property line,
Okay.
if that's your question.
yep,
Yep, yep,
thank you.
I had the same question, so thanks.
yeah. And I do have kind of a drawing here, but I don't really wanna give it up.
Sorry,
No, that's fine.
you've provided more than enough information, okay, any other questions from the board? Okay, we'll open public comment period, are there any public comments from the front row, for or against? Any public comments in the second row, for or against? Public comments from the third row, for or against? And final option, fourth row, anybody like to speak for or against this? Hearing none, call the public comment period closed. Any discussion from the board? Would anyone like to make a motion?
I think motion to proceed to questions.
Motion's made and seconded. So, any discussion? Hearing none, call the question, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We'll proceed with questions for a variance. There are 3 questions that must be answered, and the motion must be made in such a manner to confirm that, this variance would not be detrimental to the public based on these questions. The first question is, the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
What they're building is sitting on the property line with the culvert ditch where we call next to it, so it's not gonna have any jurisdiction with neighbors. No neighbors have talked to anything about it, so I don't see it probably doing it.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, call the question. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Second question, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner.
I move that we approve this based on the adjacent property would not be affected on value and not affected by the adverse construction.
Okay. Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, call the question. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Third and final question is, the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Make motion to approve that one, with the existing house there, and aligning with the current, foundation on the backside along the property line. Without that, it wouldn't allow them to, make any additions or anything onto the house.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, call the question, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations, you've been granted a variance.
Thank you. Do we need to wait for it to be, just asking for a permit would be taken, do we need to wait some time for that to be put in?
Come in tomorrow morning.
Okay, all right, thank you all.
so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Second item on the agenda is the variance 2022-7 Thompson. Is there anyone here from Thompson? Would you like to please approach the podium, tell us your name, and tell us what you'd like to do.
Stephen Thompson, and I am also here for a variance. We have our house, which I have you have pictures in the packet. We have our house, and we have our shop, and we are trying to connect those two. It was brought to my attention that once you connect the house to the shop through a mudroom, you have to have a 25-foot setback, and so our west property line is 19 feet. And so we're requesting a 6-foot variance to be able to build this. And it's that side of the shop, basically, that's causing us to not be able to build it.
Right, so the variance is not actually on what they're building between. It's
Correct.
that it's going to that would become part of the house, therefore,
Yeah.
that would take the garage out of
Yeah,
conformity.
the mudroom, or what we're
All would be accessory.
proposing is gonna be right here. There's a deck right there right now, so it's just, that's gonna be a building.
It would all be part of the house.
It's all
Yeah.
one, it's all one, and so now
Yeah.
it's an
So
accessory structure.
technically, if you were in compliance with the shop was for a house setback, you wouldn't even be here.
Correct.
But it's
I
just,
would've
it was
built
an
2 months
accessory
ago.
before.
But it was an accessory
Right.
structure
Correct. That's
prior,
all gonna be-
and therefore, before it did not require as much setback. Okay.
Setback for accessory?
Accessory structure requires 5 feet.
Right.
Yep, so when it becomes part of the dwelling, now it goes into the dwelling setbacks.
The property adjacent to you, where you have the 6-foot setback, what do you have there?
As in, what's it zoned, or?
You know, that's agricultural field.
It's
zoning,
actually zoned business or something, isn't it?
it's ag.
It is ag.
It is ag.
Oh, what we have is
Yeah.
ag, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Correct.
so,
Yeah, this lot here with zone business, and we're not really sure why that, that's.
oh, it is own business.
Not his, no.
The one next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's nothing there, right?
No, it's an empty lot.
We don't know why it's there.
You know, probably, like we've had in the past, maybe a spot zoning and nothing ever happening, or, I went to commissioner's books and not real sure, so.
They put weed in it once a year,
Yeah.
and sometimes they
Guessing
harvest it.
something was intended to be there and it just never happened, so.
Never
So
happened.
what he's building is not gonna end up very close to the property line.
No, he basically just attached it.
Yeah,
So,
just that, yep,
yeah.
okay.
You got caught with the wording in this thing, you're probably, it's basically what it is.
Just changed it from being one thing to another.
Yeah, but then
It changed the definition, not the actual.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
it's no longer accessory structure, now that's part of the, now it's one big, well, part of it.
And all you do is put a mudroom there?
Yeah.
So once you attach everything, now it's one. Becomes a-
And how long were you on that?
A year in April, so a year and a half.
Any other questions from the board? Thanks, sir. Cameron, you wanna give us a staff report advertising
Stephen Thompson applied for a variance, located at 7066 East 750 South, Frankfurt, Indiana. On August 18th, 2022, the variance was properly advertised in the Common on August 24th. We have not received any phone calls, negative phone calls, or any, actually any inquiries at all. The sign was properly posted, fees were paid, we met all criteria for the petition to be reviewed.
Okay, thanks, sir. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, we'll, open public comment. Anyone like to make a public comment for or against in the front row? Anyone in the second row would like to make a public comment for or against? Anyone in the third row would like to make a public comment for or against? And fourth row. Hearing none, we'll call the public comment section closed.
Motion to move forward with the question.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, call the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Once again, we will have to answer the three questions for variance and make motions to demonstrate in the affirmative that it will not be adverse effect to the surrounding property, etc. The first one is, the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
What he's building is not taking the building ain't close to the property line, so it can't introduce anybody, neighbors or anything like in the property. What he's proposing to do.
Motion's made and seconded. Discussion from the board. Hearing none, call the question. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Second question, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner.
Yeah, I move that we accept this as, use because it will not affect adjacent properties any more than what's already there.
Motion's made and seconded. Discussion from the board. Hearing none, call the question. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Third question, the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Strict application of the zoning ordinance is what has actually caused the, need for variance here. With the side yard differential, so, motion approved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. That was variance. Bill, sir.
Make my wife happy?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Get those. Yeah.
Next item on the agenda is, special exception 2022-2 Hammond's Development LLC. Mr. Hammond, please, state your name and what you're doing.
Good evening, I'm Mark Hammons from Local Support. And as indicated, I have a property at 208 North Robinson that I'm asking for a special exception on for the purpose of building multifamily duplexes.
Okay. Tell us what you're doing.
Yeah. So, what I'm intending to do, whoops, I'm sorry. intending to construct, if we are approved, will be 2-unit duplexes, ranch style, upscale. This is what we're intending to construct. And I'll show you our, what we would like to be able to do. About 9/10 of an acre. There's room to be able to fit 4 up in there nicely.
Square footage?
There's
Per unit?
two building styles. One is about 1,300 and the other one is about 1,530. One style is a 3-bed, 2-bath, the other style is a 2-bed, 2-bed, 2-bath.
So you have you say 9/10 of an acre?
Yeah.
So that's about 36,000. 36 or 37,000, somewhere in there. I'm just going to throw it. Cameron, is that zone U1 or U2? U1. So U1,
Yeah, 200.
U1 with sanitary sewers is 4,000 per dwelling unit. Is that correct, Cam?
What's that?
Would that fall under multifamily or, so, because it's multifamily on more than a duplex on a single parcel of land? Is that correct? Correct. So that'd be 2,500 per unit times
10,000.
times 8 units,
20,000.
be 20,000, you know,
What you
should
get, 20?
be 16, 17, yeah, 20,000 square feet. So you do have adequate square footage. And the lot width exceeds the 75 feet. So you meet the criteria except for needing the special exception. Any other questions from the board?
Only question to make sure it's just not a technicality or any problem, the thing in the paper says a duplex. Did I read it right? Build a duplex on the property.
Yeah, special exception allow building multifamily duplex housing. So there's no, that's what, application, so. I'll go with this.
Talk about the things that are going with the paper in your treasury.
Right, that's what we go off of to put the petition in the paper. So, building multifamily duplex housing. That's what we put in the petition.
I'm not reading the same thing you are, that's what I'm saying.
I'm reading his application.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so,
I mean, they'll
yeah,
talk about what
yeah.
was advertised in the paper.
Right.
Well, we want to make sure what the problem is, what was advertised and not what's on the.
So the special exception is for multifamily, so Cindy, is that, you have to specify the exact number in the petition, he's getting a petition for multifamily, so does that have to be nailed down by exact number, or
is,
This land use.
Right.
right,
It's
it's
what,
just,
what
it's
it's gonna
just
be,
usage,
usage
not,
of the land.
not necessarily specific to what the building is, or building.
If that's the case, then you could put more than four duplexes on there, correct?
Not, that, you'd be getting it close, then what you're,
Parking spaces.
yeah.
Well,
So we gotta have
you're
the
just
line.
going off of square footage required, you know.
Right, you're still gonna have to have parking. So
Yeah.
I've never for all that.
But the petition's for the land use, it's the.
Right.
Right,
What
it's
is it
not,
elect-
for,
it's
to
for
the
land use.
specifics of the
Correct.
buildings at all, no.
That's what the petition.
So it doesn't matter if there's one or 10,
Correct,
it's still a special exception for having it.
correct.
Right.
I mean, that would be an assumption, he's already showed us the layout that he plans on using. Would be for four on there and enough.
That could change, but he would then have a special exception land usage for these bylaws, or not bylaws, but zoning ordinance.
This isn't the city limits, correct?
This is a recommendation to the city council.
Correct. So it would come back to the city for final.
Final approval, yes, all we will do is make a recommendation to the Delphi City Council.
Would you have any objection if someone made an order or a motion to approve it for four duplexes?
I don't have a problem with that. I have no intention of building more than four.
I don't think they would fit.
No, I don't think so either, not with all the
These are more
requirements.
spacious, they're nice and more upscale, I don't wanna build.
I understand, but, you know, I've seen instances where people get approval for land use and then they push the envelope after that.
I have no plan to build more than four, so if you wanted to put that number in, I'm very comfortable with that.
I'm just asking a question. Any other questions from the board? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Cameron, would you like to make your staff report about advertised fees, sign, staff recommendation, and correspondence citizen for or against?
Mark Hamlin's of Hamlin's Development submitted an application for a special exception use that we just discussed at 208 North Robinson Street in Delphi, Indiana. It was properly advertised in the Carroll County Comment. It's currently zoned U1, urban residential, as stated in the Delphi City zoning ordinance. And this does require special exception for multifamily. Advertised on September 14th. So today's petition is, like I said a minute ago, is recommendation to the Delphi City Council. You see the purple line right here, that's the city limits. So it is within the city of Delphi's final approval to the city council. The sign was properly posted. We did have you guys have it, we did have a list of people that wrote a letter with their names and their feelings towards the petition. Other than what we have in front of you guys, that was all we got. Both sides.
Yeah, that's what it is. Thank you. Anything else?
That's it. All criteria was met for the petition.
Your recommendation?
If it goes to the city council, I don't usually give a recommendation, so,
Okay. Okay,
because it's their final approval, so
okay.
I let the BZA board weigh their thoughts and
Okay. All right. Any discussion from the board? My comment is that it's very seldom that we see so many people that have corresponded to the BCA. We have one letter that was written by William and April Price, and then another petition that was signed, and it looks like we have about 20. 25 signatures, objecting to the project. And it appears that, there's a lot of objection to the fact that Robinson Street is fairly narrow, and that, people are concerned about increased noise and traffic on the road, and other objections. Any other comments from the board?
It'll be a tough decision.
Doug, any comments?
Does anyone know if the city has plans to improve on that area or streets anytime soon, since they just did Samuel Milroy, right? Out that direction, but none of the side streets, right?
I have no idea.
That was through a CC&G grant, community crossings grant, so I don't know, I don't think there's really any set. I know they do the phaser, which, like the sidewalks, how good the roads are, they go by the criteria of what needs to get fixed, and like, where that's at on the list, I do not.
It was actually out there, that road, it wasn't last year, but it,
So it has been paved, but not white.
that road isn't, probably isn't any narrower there than, I guess it probably doesn't other streets than the city road.
No, I don't know the exact width of the road. It says it measures 13.3 inches. Typically it takes, 8 foot for a vehicle to travel down the road, so it'd be difficult for 2 vehicles to meet on that.
I just met somebody out there tonight, and I was on there, and neither one of us were off the edge of the road.
That's decent. It would have to be wider than 13.3 inches. I look at here, I'm just going off the addresses, there's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, people with the Robinson Street address. I don't think there's much more than about, 6 or 7 homes on the street.
About 7 or 8,
7 or 8, okay. The balance of them are on either Samuel Milroy Road or Chamber Estates, Old Camden Delphi Road, and Elizabeth Street. So they're all in that general area.
The Elizabeth Street's on the back side of it. Here. I mean, nothing will be acting on Elizabeth Street.
yeah, Elizabeth has a cul-de-sac that's,
Yeah, but nothing for this development's gonna end up on Elizabeth Street, correct?
no, it's a dead end right there. It's a cul-de-sac.
And I own the Chamber State Drive, which I've been told it is a street, so, if it exits that way, but it's maintained by us, it's not maintained by the city streets, it's Stone Drive.
Any other comments or discussion from the board?
I think it's a tremendous, financial investment there. Been involved enough to know that there's, been a desperate need for upscale duplexes like that, in the community. Had a mother that just moved back here. She wanted to be back here 3 years ago, and there wasn't anything available in a duplex, one of the duplexes up, next to, up on the hill, next to, Monty's, actually opened up last minute. So those, that's the type that some of the seniors, 55 and older, are actually looking for, and they're just not available. So, I commend him for the investment, not only in this location, but a couple other locations
something nice now, they'll build for a new home area. But it's, the only thing is, it is a tough, tight street out there, very well know that.
Doug, any other comments? Jeff, any more? Nate?
No, I don't think, final decision is gonna go to the city council on this anyway, so,
Correct, we just do recommendations.
you know.
Okay, from that point, we will open for public comments, and since there are a large number of people who signed petitions and letters against, we'll just start with individuals who would like to speak against the project. So anyone in first row, Debbie, that's you?
Yeah, no, I'm okay.
Okay, second row, if you'd like to speak, please come up, state your name, address, and state your opinion, and please keep it pertinent into the variance, or the special exception.
Okay, all right, my name's Craig Potts, I live on 102 North Robinson Street, live right on the corner. I'm the one that put together the petition. The last thing I could see was the updated, was 2017, I didn't have anything newer than that. It did bring up the street width. I did went out in front of my house, which is right there off Samuel Bauer Road, and I measured it. It is 13.3 foot. You can go out there and measure it yourself. Our main concern is the width of the road, okay, is too narrow, and if there was a spot where you didn't have to get over with another car, I understand, but right there at the main intersection is very dangerous. We also feel that, or I feel, and a lot of people that sign this, is that Robinson Street is a dead-end road, correct? And it's not, well, why is there a dead-end sign there on Robinson Street?
Long story behind that, I'm on for development chamber,
I know.
State Drive, the mayor asked me for signs both ends, because we gotta try to keep traffic off that road.
But-
For my development.
But
It is a rural street.
But you even use the road, and the point I'm making is the street is too narrow for the traffic we get. If you don't believe me, put a traffic monitor out and check that. Also, if they are allowed to build their development, how many are they gonna cram in there? That's gonna be more traffic. And, the last thing is, like I said, the updated version that I got was 2017. I didn't see anything newer than that. It'd been updated. It says, Article 2, Section 2, no yard or existing at that time of passage or ordinance shall be reduced or diminished, or area below the minimum requirements set or within. Yards or lots created after the effective date of this ordinance shall meet at least the minimum requirements established by the ordinance. The road must be 25 feet from a house, if you make the road a bit wider. And then,
Setback.
that's a setback.
That's the setback, 25. That's, if you're, that would be what that language would be, 25 feet from
That's from the road to the house, correct?
that. Yeah, this is all city of Delphi.
That would be,
Property line.
that would be
Property
from
line, correct.
the right-of-way of the street to the structure,
Okay,
not from the pavement, but from the right-of-way of the.
okay, I must be I don't understand what you're saying.
So when I hit this next button here, you'll see what pops up in green. So that's what indicates what the cities, if it's 13 feet that you're measuring, the
Yes,
city has right of way on both sides. So-
yeah, they have 5 foot, I believe.
So when I hit this green line, it'll show what the right of way entails, so if they're,
Okay, so if you did that, if you measured like,
What's that say for the right-of-way?
it doesn't give you, it just shows where the road is.
Shows where the right-of-way is.
okay,
Give me a-
Aaron Lyons has it's all city, so that Aaron has the exact where the city
Okay,
ends and
but
where it
there-
starts, so we don't have that.
Okay.
there should be an ordinance though, how far a road has to be from a house though, correct?
If there's one within the city.
Okay, because our neighbors are actually closer.
the 32 that's the right of way included.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out if they got room to widen the street, so I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, well, they definitely have to, I would assume, because I think 12.5 is a one-lane road, if I'm not mistaken. And our road, like I said, mine is right where you come off Samuel Milroy Road, excuse me, I'm a little nervous. It is 13.3, and that's what I measured. Like I said, if nobody believes me, they can go measure, and that is the main point where people are coming and going. And people do drive way too fast around that, which that's a safety issue, especially when there's 64 children and grandchildren. The two houses across that are on Samuel Milroy Road onto Robinson Street and including Robinson Street, that is 64 kids and grandkids that are on, like I said, the two houses across from Robinson Street and on Robinson Street. And I think most everybody here from Robinson Street is here to vouch for that. Also, the school bus goes down our road, so, you know, a school bus is actually wider than a normal car. So, I think that's all. The only question I do have is if we're not a dead end and they still use it, shouldn't the sign be taken down? Because they use it regardless.
That's something to take up with the city
Okay.
department.
Okay.
Their lines.
All right, I think that's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you for your
All right,
time.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
No. Anyone else in the second row like to speak either for or against? Or for, or I mean against, I'm sorry, I apologize. Any comments? Anyone in the third row would like to get up and speak
I would.
against? Okay.
Hello,
Please state your name and address.
my name is Monica Abbott. I reside at 201 North Robinson Street. I've lived there since 2013. I have my daughter with me. You have to forgive me. That home is very special to me. It took me 7 years to pay off my debt to buy that house. My neighbor here is Miss Diane. She's widowed. Before Miss Diane was Miss Peggy. And Dawn lived across the road. And then who was her other neighbor? She was widowed. Yeah, Miss Sarah, she lived there. It's a very quaint neighborhood, and it's a very narrow road. Ask me as a mom how I know that's narrow. Ask this gentleman how many times I've had a conversation with some of his staff about how narrow our road is due to safety. How many times I have been to their, was it down on Wells Street over there, and I've talked to Peggy and I've pleaded with her to get people to utilize your guys' private drive instead of our single lane dead end road. I know you guys are telling us tonight that it's not a dead end road, but that house was sold to me on the premises of it being a dead end road. And I bought it so my girls could ride their bikes up and down it with less traffic, because I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 neighbors. Safety has not been an issue at all. I'm a former officer, I'm a current addictions therapist. I work with the public and I have for many, many, many years. And I value the safety that has been in my neighborhood. I am vested in this community, very vested. I'm a board member with Community Corrections. I volunteer for many sports for the girls. I am fearful of something so large coming in such a quiet, old neighborhood. Guys, this is an older neighborhood. This is not an up and coming, this is a single family residential neighborhood. And I take pride of being a younger resident on my street. I have no intention, had no intention of doing anything other than put my kids to college and raising grandbabies in that home. I'm starting to second question it. And I'm just advocating on behalf of my neighbors and myself and my girls for the safety. That, slice it any way you want. Mr. Strasser, you said you went down that road today, sir. I don't know how you didn't have to drive in someone's property to get around another vehicle. I don't know how you just gracefully passed by somebody and you both magically stayed on the road. Sir, that lane, that road is very, very narrow, very narrow. I just express to you guys so much, like, if we're going to build on that beautiful property, build on it, but it's a single family resident area. It is not meant to house turnover rates that come with domestic violence and all of that. I want safety, I want my girls to be able to play outside, and it's quieted down over the last few years. You guys have got your residents, your traffic, they're abiding by their leases more so. It's reduced the traffic, but it is still, it's so significant and so much of a narrow road that whoever mows the property across the road from me can't even drive down the road with their equipment. They have to park at the end because they can't get their equipment down there. It is very narrow, and I'm here to just advocate for the safety of our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the third row wish to speak against this? Anyone in the fourth row wish to speak against this? Please come up and state your name, address, and please try to keep it, focused on the special consent.
I'm not good at public speaking, so forgive me.
No, that's all right, that's all right.
I'm Randall Pyatt. I live on Second North Road, there on the corner between on Robinson Street.
Okay.
I've lived there for 30 years. As far as I know, I'm the oldest living resident in that neighborhood. I've been the longest. When we moved there, it was a quiet place. I remember when that road was a single road that went all the way across the tracks. There was 4 houses plus my driveway. Then it was dead-end off, closed off. You closed the river tracks off and it was dead end. It was then opened up when Chamber Estates was built. It was originally supposed to be emergency traffic only, because I was on a couple of meetings. But we know that's not the truth.